Is our breath a system of mass control? Hi everyone, Mazen here, and welcome to the Maximal Life. I want to kick this segment off by inviting you right now to immediately rest your mind and body, boost your willpower, and tune in to yourself. If it is safe to do, wherever you are right now, at this moment, let's take a minute together and breathe together. I'll watch the time, you just follow along. Inhale through the nose for a count of 4 and concentrate on pushing the air into the stomach instead of the chest. Hold the breath for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly through the mouth for another 4 count. And now continue on your own. I'll let you know when a minute has passed. Inhale through the nose for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale through the mouth for 4. Focus on the breath going in and out. Notice the urges that arise and just allow them to bring you back to your breath. Can you feel any resistance to taking this 1 minute, this 60 seconds to reconnect to your body and ground your energy? Acknowledge this resistance and let it pass through you. Exhale. It's been a minute. You see, the brain is a bank. The simple breathing technique deposits the peace and positivity of being into the present moment. Ask yourself, is my brain telling me I don't have enough time to take a minute? Is your mind becoming antsy and wondering why you are not answering 100 emails at once? Is there a sense of scarcity in your brain bank, a sense of time poverty? Now, turn your focus to your body. The body is a reporter telling you what it needs. What is your body reporting as you make this 60-second deposit into your brain bank? Consider this. To feel regret, you must be focusing on the past. To worry, you need to be in the future. And when you're focused on the breath, you are present and free from both worry and regret. Return to the present moment reality and the pulse of everyday living here and now, free from what-ifs and the should-haves. The brilliant Alexander Lowen wrote, "We live in an ocean of air, like fish in a body of water. By our breathing, we are attuned to our atmosphere. If we inhibit our breathing, we isolate ourselves from the medium in which we exist. The past has flown, and the upcoming days and weeks do not exist yet. Our true point of power is in this present moment." What is your body reporting as you use your breath to bring you into this present moment? Inhale through the nose for a count of 4 and concentrate on pushing air into the stomach instead of the chest. Hold the breath for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly through the mouth for another 4. Inhale through the nose for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale through the mouth for 4. Focus on the breath going in and out. Can you feel the positivity and peace flooding your brain as you bring yourself into the present moment with the take a minute breath? This simple but powerful take a minute technique is used by some of the world's best athletes, iconic producers, and elite entrepreneurs to activate the renewal response that lowers stress, reduces your heart rate, blood pressure, and preserves the sanctity of mind required to create and produce like a maximal achiever. Here's the science. The autonomic nervous system is the mechanism of the body responsible for all of the involuntary systems. Our heart rate, our digestive system, our reproductive system, and our respiratory system, to just name a few. When we experience stress, our bodies flood with stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. Our bodies prepare to take action to preserve our very lives. This is called the fight or flight response, which is awesome if you're being chased by a lion. But when this response is being triggered daily by the stress of deadlines and heavy workloads, these stress hormones can now, over time, begin to deteriorate your health and well-being. Stress hormones raise our heart rate and our blood pressure, which give way to worry and frenzy. Worries can be potent and mind-altering. Worry distorts our perception of reality. Worry gives the way to doubt, paranoid voices, and relentless self-criticism. And this energy is contagious. It spills out needlessly onto our teams and also into your loved ones. As Mark Twain put it, I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. Since this response is involuntary, there is only one option we have to control it: our breathing. Breathing is the only access point where our autonomic system can interface between voluntary and involuntary. And since all the autonomic systems are closely linked by slowing your breathing down to a pace that the body associates with being rested and relaxed, a cascading effect eases all the other systems to respond in kind. You essentially teach your body to remember the truth. And the truth is, you've got this. The body is a reporter. It is our job to listen to what it needs. The breath is the reporter's most consistent and relied upon source of information. What type of information is your breath bringing to your body? Is the information deeply positive, peaceful, and abundant? Or is it shallow, short, and scarce? Take a minute breathing, hacks into your autonomic system, and reroutes it towards a state of calm, which is positively contagious to your team and loved ones. The ability to think calmly under pressure is the hallmark of the maximal achiever. The ability to think calmly under pressure calms the entire room. The ability to think calmly under pressure is the mark of emotional intelligence. And according to Harvard Business School, emotional intelligence is the single most important factor in predicting success. Think about that. The single most important factor. I've heard many leaders express with great frustration, with all the pressure I'm under, I find myself struggling to manage my temper with my employees. This is simply a lack of impulse control, and it costs a fortune in time affluence. When an employee makes a mistake and you want to vent your frustration, even though you know it would be more productive to ask questions and coach him towards less mistakes in the future, the take-a-minute technique can right-size those impulses and make you feel unflappable. To those of us who find it a challenge to keep their cool when under pressure, I offer this. If you have time to scatter the morale of your team to the wind, you have time to take a minute to breathe. The more demanding your schedule becomes, the more valuable it is to take a minute to realign yourself with the purpose and principles of your maximal self. The subject of impulse control reminds me how I learned what not to do as a business leader from a starter job very early in my career. Now that I think back on it, this experience saved me a fortune when I stepped into the leadership position in all of my 9 businesses. I was hired by a very intelligent and dedicated cardiologist to bring his practice to a concierge level of service. I am more than qualified to do this job. I know exactly what was expected of me, and I was prepared to bring my best, to bring it all. From the very first day, I noticed something was off. The entire staff was constantly on edge with each other and just between them. There was a nervous energy that permeated the entire clinic. It is common for there to be a few difficult personalities in any work environment who require a bit more tolerance, but an entire staff of 12, this just isn't possible, I thought. And knowing that the key to providing a concierge experience begins and ends with the staff, it was imperative that I located the cause of such angst and fast. It did not take long to pin down the source. The patient was accidentally double booked, and upon discovering the error, the receptionist's eyes widened. She shifted frantically in her seat, and her first instinct was not to reassure the patient because she was focused on trying to figure out who made the mistake. This puzzled me. It is not an uncommon mistake. Rearrangements can always be made, and with calm demeanor, the situation is easily diffused. But instead, she panicked and passed that panic onto the patient. I made a mental note to coach her on this to avoid spreading the problems onto other patients, and I found a solution within 5 minutes. The patient left the receptionist desk happy, and I thought it was over. I was wrong. While in the treatment room, the patient mentioned the mix-up to the doctor. At the end of the day, the doctor called the receptionist as well as the medical assistant who made the appointment into his office, and they both left his office crying. Remember when I said the first thing the receptionist did was to check to see who made the appointment? This information did not serve the patient. It did not serve the solution. And I chalked it up to the lack of experience and training, but this woman had been trained by her experience with the doctor. She'd been trained to figure out who was to blame, so she would not be the one to get yelled at by the doctor. And the entire rest of the staff was doing the exact same thing. Any mistakes that couldn't be hidden or covered up set off highly emotional alarms that resulted in blame, resentment, and frantic scurrying. This man, the doctor, is a good man. In fact, he graduated #1 in his class. He was so knowledgeable and attentive. He works on call, and he was often called into the hospital in the middle of the night for his expertise. I believe he truly cares for his patients. And as a person, in general, I like this guy. He wasn't a bad person, but he was constantly stressed and he had no impulse control. Now, there was another doctor that has his practice across the hall in the same building. This man already reached concierge status many years ago. Every morning, he eases into his office with a smile on his face, and everyone smiles with him. He has a humor about him and a warmth that remains consistent, whether he's communicating with his patients, his employees, or his wife, who often accompanied him. Warm, poised, dignified, he carries himself with an air of inner certainty that he could resolve whatever came his way. And his staff followed suit and adopted the same confidence in themselves. His tact and self-assuredness is contagious. What a difference. I realized the task that lay before me, I need to manage up, meaning to raise the clinic to concierge level. The coaching needs to begin right at the top, with the doctor himself. I'm pleased to report, after some expected resistance and breaking through a great deal of natural defensiveness, the doctor who hired me eventually rose to the occasion. And it was a pleasure to witness the entire staff evolve alongside with him. What I learned from this experience, having witnessed two very capable doctors with the same potential but completely opposite approaches, has saved me countless hours of time spent with the problems rather than the solutions. It has saved me countless dollars in making impulsive fear-based decisions, where a calm and collected approach inspired creative solutions and opportunities for personal growth. And maybe most importantly, I realized that the first step in learning how to respond more effectively to others is to learn to respond more effectively to ourselves. It can be a challenge to identify the ways we may be negatively affecting our own growth and productivity. Impulse control is a skill acquired over time, and the ability to observe ourselves and resist negative impulses has a profound impact for effective performance and leadership. Because you are in control of you. The reward for living this truth is living a maximal life. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. We all have excellence within us. Here's how you take control over stress. The take-a-minute technique can be done anywhere, at any time, while you're waiting for a meeting to start, or when your computer is trying to boot up, while you're waiting in a line or in traffic. It can be done in public without anyone even noticing it. Whenever you are dealing with any challenge or begin to feel that things are spinning too fast for you, just remember to take a minute. The body is a reporter, and the breath is the reporter's most consistent, relied upon source of information. When under pressure, take a minute to breathe strength and inner certainty back into your truest and maximal self. Take a minute and give yourself the option to respond to life in a way that clearly represents a maximal you. And then watch as you and your team thrive to the next level, the maximal life. If you like what you have seen and heard, please subscribe.